Have you ever imagined making money even while you sleep? It might sound like a pipe dream, but many people have achieved this by learning how to build the right kind of assets. In today's video, I'm going to reveal 7 types of assets that can generate income even when you're catching Z's. And this is the latest ranking for the year 2026. For each asset I share, I'll give real-world examples. How do you start if you have limited capital? How should you allocate if you have a moderate amount? And what should you keep in mind if you have substantial funds? I'll go into each part in detail, including common mistakes to avoid. Before we dive in, let me ask you a question. How many types of assets do you already own? Leave a comment below to let me know. And don't forget, if you find this topic helpful and want to receive more detailed analyses, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel right now. Just one click and you won't miss any of the upcoming videos. For example, how to turn $10,000 into $100,000 in 3 years. All right. Now, let's start with the first type of asset, which is gold. For thousands of years, gold has been considered a symbol of wealth and a store of value. There's an old saying, old is gold. Even in the most difficult times, when currencies devalue and the economy fluctuates, gold remains strong and even shines. If you look back at 2020, the price of gold was only around $2,000 an ounce, but by 2024, it had at one point hit $3,500, or even more. In just 4 years, someone holding 10 ounces of gold saw their assets increase by more than $15,000. And the best part is, they didn't have to stay up all night, analyze charts, or chase news. They just had to patiently hold the gold and let time do the rest. Gold is clear evidence of the concept, make money while you sleep. But to invest in gold effectively, you need to understand it correctly. The biggest mistake many people make is buying gold based on herd mentality. When the press reports that gold prices are hitting new highs, the crowd rushes to buy, and then shortly after, the price corrects and they end up buying high. If you see gold as a long-term asset, you need to look at it within a 5 to 10 year time frame, not just a month or two. The second mistake is not calculating a reasonable allocation. Some people, because they hear gold is safe, put all their money into gold. But think about it. If gold stagnates for 5 years or even declines slightly, all your capital will be stuck there. Experts often recommend that gold should only account for about 10% of your asset portfolio. This way, you have protection and capital to invest in other profitable channels. Another mistake is choosing the wrong form of gold. If you buy gold jewelry, rings, or bracelets for investment, they will depreciate when sold due to wear and tear and manufacturing costs. Instead, buy gold bars or standard brand gold like SJC for easy trading and less depreciation. Remember, gold does not generate a regular cash flow. It doesn't pay interest or dividends. The value of gold lies in its appreciation over time and its role as a safe haven when the economy is unstable. So, don't expect gold to make you rich quickly, but see it as a shield to protect your assets. For example, if you have $5,000 and buy gold, and after 5 years the gold increases by 30%, you have $6,500. The number isn't small, but if you divide the capital, putting $1,000 into gold and $4,000 into ETFs or bonds, you have both a regular income and gold as a safety net. This is a smart strategy. Gold particularly shines during times of crisis. When the pandemic broke out, stocks fell, real estate stalled, but gold rose. That's when gold fulfilled its function of protecting your assets. A friend of mine once said, "Gold won't make you rich, but it will help you not get poor." It sounds simple, but it's true. Keeping a little gold in your portfolio is a way to feel secure, to know that no matter how volatile the world is, you still have a safe asset in hand. So, the question I want you to answer in the comment section is, if you had $5,000, what percentage would you allocate to buying gold? 10%, 20%, or more? Share your opinion so everyone can discuss it together. Moving on to asset number 2, we'll explore a modern investment tool that is extremely simple but offers long-term benefits. ETFs, or exchange-traded funds. An ETF is like a large basket that contains many stocks. When you buy an ETF, you don't have to struggle to pick individual stocks. You immediately own an entire basket of stocks. This helps you save time and diversify risk. For example, there is the VN30 ETF in Vietnam. This fund mimics the 30 largest companies on the stock exchange, meaning that with just one purchase order, you become an indirect shareholder of 30 leading businesses. In the international market, you can invest in the S&P 500 ETF, holding 500 giant corporations like Apple, Microsoft, and Google. It's the easiest way to simultaneously participate in the power of the entire economy. The great thing about ETFs is that the risk is much lower than if you held a single stock. If one company has problems, other companies in the basket will balance it out. As a result, the fund's value doesn't fluctuate too much. This is why ETFs are considered an asset for lazy people. You just buy and leave it, and the market will do the rest. A popular strategy is dollar cost averaging DCA, which is buying a fixed amount every month, regardless of whether the market is up or down. When the price is high, you buy fewer units. When the price is low, you buy more. After a few years, the average cost will be very good, and you'll benefit from compound interest. Let's do a small calculation. If you invest $100 a month in an ETF for 10 years, the total capital invested is $12,000. With an average growth rate of 10% per year, which is entirely feasible when looking at the history of market growth, after 10 years, your portfolio could reach nearly $20,000. You don't need to worry about short-term fluctuations. You don't need to stay up late reading news. You just need discipline and patience. The most common mistake for beginners is a lack of patience. They buy an ETF for a few months, see little profit, or the market shakes, and they sell quickly. But the nature of an ETF is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a long-term asset building tool. The winner isn't the smartest person, but the most persistent. Another mistake is choosing an ETF without understanding the basket of stocks inside. For example, the Diamond ETF focuses on foreign limited stocks, so it fluctuates more than the VN30 ETF. If you want stability, VN30 is a good choice. If you want rapid growth, an international technology ETF would be appropriate. Always read the fund description carefully before investing. In fact, many young people who are just starting out in Vietnam choose ETFs as their starting point. Some people only earn $500 a month but set aside $50 each month to buy ETFs. After 2 or 3 years, the total capital is only a few $1,000s, but the portfolio has increased by a few $100s thanks to the market going up. More importantly, they have formed a habit of saving and investing. ETFs are also suitable for those who are busy. You have a main job, you don't have time to analyze stocks, ETFs are the solution. You entrust it to the entire market, and history has proven that in the long run, the market always goes up. So the question I want you to answer right now is, if you had $500 in idle cash today, would you choose to buy individual stock or start with ETFs to be safer? Leave a comment below so everyone can discuss it. ETFs also have an extremely important advantage: saving time and effort. You don't need to stay up late reading financial statements. You don't have to analyze complex numbers. Each month, you just need to regularly set aside a sum of money to buy ETFs and let the market do the rest. One interesting thing is that many legendary investors also support ETFs. Warren Buffett once advised, if you don't know how to pick stocks or seek all the stock, just invest regularly in the S&P 500 ETF, and that's enough to get rich in retirement. That's extremely practical advice for most of us who don't have the time or expertise. In Vietnam, ETFs are becoming increasingly popular. Funds like VN30, Diamond, and FinLead attract a lot of capital, liquidity is getting better and better, and many securities companies have supported ETF trading as easily as stocks. This is an opportunity for you to start investing safely without a large amount of capital. However, you also need to note a few points. First, ETFs are not for people who want to day trade, who want to make quick profits in a few weeks. Second, you should choose a fund with a large scale, many participants to ensure liquidity. Third, allocate reasonably. Don't put all your money into a single ETF. You can combine Vietnamese ETFs and international ETFs. If you persevere in just 5 to 10 years, you will see a clear difference. ETFs not only help you increase your assets, but also teach you discipline, and that is what makes wealth sustainable. So I want to ask you, according to you, what is the minimum amount of money to start with each month to invest in ETFs reasonably? $25, $50, or $100? Leave your answer in the comment section. ETFs also have an extremely important role in combating inflation. Think about it. If you leave money in the bank with an interest rate of 5% per year, but inflation is at 4%, you actually only earn 1%. The purchasing power of money is gradually eroded. Meanwhile, ETFs usually grow at an average of 10 to 12% per year. This means that after deducting inflation, you still maintain a significant real profit. In addition, ETFs can also be considered as a personal retirement fund in many developed countries. Workers regularly deduct a portion of their monthly salary to buy ETFs. After 20 to 30 years, they have a large sum of money to retire comfortably. This is something that we in Vietnam can absolutely learn from. For example, if you regularly invest $150 a month in ETFs for 20 years, the total capital invested is $36,000. With a growth rate of 10% per year After 20 years, the portfolio can reach over $100,000. That's a figure enough to completely change your financial future. However, remember that ETFs also have risks. The market may decline in the short term and the price of ETFs may go down. But if you patiently look at it within a 5 to 10 year time frame, the overall trend is always upward. This patience will distinguish between those who succeed and those who give up halfway. So, we have just finished sharing about ETFs, an extremely useful tool for you to build sustainable wealth. And now I want to hear your opinion. Will you choose Vietnamese ETFs or international ETFs to start your investment journey? Leave a comment below to discuss and learn more together. Before we move on to the next section, let's quickly summarize the main points about asset number 2, ETFs, so you can remember longer and apply them immediately. 1. ETFs help you own an entire basket of stocks with just one purchase order instead of having to choose individual stocks. This helps you diversify risk and save a lot of time. 2. ETFs are suitable for everyone. From new college grads with low incomes to investors with large capital who want to build a stable portfolio. You can start with just a few dollars without waiting until you have hundreds of thousands to participate. 3. The most successful strategy with ETFs is long-term periodic investment so that compound interest can unleash its power. Patience is your strongest weapon. 4. ETFs are not a get-rich-quick channel. Don't expect big profits in just a few months. Instead, persevere for 5 to 10 years and you will see the difference. 5. Always read the fund description carefully to choose the right type of ETF that fits your goals. If you want to be safe, choose a common index like VN30 or S&P 500. If you want strong growth, you can choose a technology sector ETF. Thus, ETFs are an extremely useful tool to help you invest effectively and learn financial discipline. And I believe that anyone can start regardless of whether the capital is large or small. In the next section, we will come to asset number 3, a type of asset that has existed for thousands of years, considered a safe haven whenever the market fluctuates. Can you guess what it is? Leave your prediction in the comments below and let's explore it together in the next section. Let's move on to asset number 3, a type of asset that almost everyone has heard of, even owned. It has existed for thousands of years, gone through so many crises, so many economic fluctuations, but still maintains its value, which is gold. Gold has always been considered a symbol of safety. When the stock market plummets, when money devalues, when real estate stands still, gold becomes a safe haven. People often say, when you don't believe in anything else, believe in gold. In Vietnam, the culture of hoarding gold has existed for a long time. Our grandparents often saved gold for weddings, anniversaries, considering gold as a sure savings account. And reality has proven that those who patiently hold gold in the long term see their assets increase. For example, in 2010, the price of gold was only around $1,300 an ounce. By 2024, gold had exceeded $3,500, meaning that in just 14 years, the value had increased nearly 3 times. If you held 10 ounces of gold throughout that journey, your assets would have increased by nearly $20,000, completely passively. The greatest strength of gold is that it does not depend on any organization. It cannot be printed infinitely like paper money, nor is it influenced by the business results of a company like stocks. Gold has its own value and is recognized everywhere in the world. However, you also need to understand clearly that gold does not generate a regular cash flow like dividends or rental income. Gold only increases in value over time, and sometimes there are periods of stagnation or decline. Therefore, you should not put all your assets into gold, but see it as a defensive tool in your portfolio. Experts often recommend a reasonable ratio of 10 to 15%. An important note, buy gold bars, standard brand gold, instead of gold jewelry. Because when you sell gold jewelry, you will lose value due to wear and tear and manufacturing costs, while gold bars are easy to buy, easy to sell, and maintain their value. You may ask, when should I buy gold? The answer is, if you see gold as a long-term investment channel, the timing is not as important as being patient in holding it. Buy little by little, accumulate gradually instead of pouring it all in when the price is hot. So now I want to ask you, if you have $10,000, how much would you allocate to gold and how much to other channels? Leave your answer in the comment section so everyone can discuss and learn from each other. Gold is not only a safe haven, but also a part of a smart asset allocation strategy. Many international financial experts often emphasize that no one knows the future, but everyone can prepare for it. And gold is a preparation. Imagine, if your assets are all in the form of cash, when inflation rises, its real value will be eroded. If all your assets are in stocks, when the market collapses, you will lose sleep. But if you have a portion of gold in your portfolio, you will feel much more secure because gold often rises in price when those channels encounter difficulties. The interesting thing is that gold is not outdated even though it has appeared since thousands of years ago. Central banks around the world are still constantly buying gold to reserve. This shows that gold always plays a core role in the global financial system. And if countries still believe in gold, an individual investor like you cannot ignore it. In Vietnam, many families still maintain the habit of hoarding gold. Older people often don't like stocks or real estate but feel secure when they see a few gold bars stored in the closet. And in fact, many people have overcome difficult periods when money devalues or the economy is unstable thanks to gold. A real story, there is a female office worker who, in 10 years of working, saved and bought 2 ounces of gold each year. It may seem small, but after 10 years, she had 20 ounces of gold. When the price of gold increased sharply, that gold became a valuable capital that helped her buy her first piece of land. That is the power of perseverance and discipline, even if each accumulation is only a small number. Finally, gold also brings you a comfortable mentality. Because you know that you have a portion of safe assets, you will be more confident when investing in other channels with higher risks. That is how professional investors balance between safety and growth. So, the question for you here is, according to you, should gold be the top asset in the ranking of safe havens in 2026? Share your opinion in the comments because this is definitely a topic that many people care about. To close the section on asset number 3, gold, I want to emphasize a few important points for you to easily remember and apply immediately. First, gold is a safe haven. It does not generate cash flow, but maintains value and protects your assets from crises, inflation, or the devaluation of money. Second, investing in gold requires patience. Don't chase news or trade short term. Instead, accumulate gradually and hold it within a 5 to 10 year time frame. Third, allocate reasonably. Gold should not occupy the entire portfolio but should only be at 10-15% to balance risk with other channels. Fourth, choose the right form of gold. Buying gold bars, bindings, reputable brand gold will help you preserve value instead of losing manufacturing fees like gold jewelry. Finally, gold not only protects assets but also brings mental peace. When you know you have a certain part in your portfolio, you will be more confident when participating in other investment channels. So, we have finished sharing about gold, a classic asset that has never been outdated. And now get ready because in the next section, I will reveal asset number 4, a channel that many young people are extremely interested in because it can generate a regular cash flow every month, even every day. Can you guess what it is? Leave your prediction in the comments and we will explore it right after. We come to asset number 4, a type of asset that you will definitely find familiar because it is associated with the real estate rentals, can provide a steady stream of income. They've long been considered passive income generators. When you own an apartment, a house, or even just a room, you can rent it out and collect monthly income whether you're working or sleeping. This is why many wealthy people around the world accumulate assets through real estate. The strength of rental properties lies in their consistent cash flow. If you have an apartment and rent it out for, say, $350 a month, you're bringing in a substantial amount each year. This income is consistent and can cover living expenses or be used for reinvestment. Not only that, but the value of real estate also tends to increase over time, meaning you profit from rental income and potentially gain capital when you sell. This is a double advantage that few other assets offer. However, real estate isn't always easy. A common mistake is buying houses or land based on trends without carefully calculating cash flow. Some people borrow too much from the bank, resulting in debt payments that are higher than the rental income. As a result, instead of achieving financial freedom, they get stuck in financial burdens. Therefore, the key principle when investing in rental properties is that the cash flow must be positive. This means that after deducting expenses and loan interest, you still have a profit. If you don't achieve this, it's not a profitable asset, but just a burden. In the United States, the rental property segment is very diverse, from student rooms, whole house rentals, and serviced apartments to small offices. You don't necessarily need a large amount of capital to get started. Many people with only a few $1,000s know how to partner, know how to leverage bank loans, and have built a portfolio of rental properties that brings in a steady stream of income. Here's a real-world example. A friend of mine bought a small one-bedroom apartment in a suburban area for around $150,000. He borrowed $90,000 from the bank, with monthly payments of around $700. After completing the interior, he rents it out for $1,000 a month, meaning that after paying off the debt, he still makes a profit of $300. And after 10 to 15 years, that apartment will be entirely his and its value will almost certainly increase. So, I want to ask you, if you had the opportunity to invest, would you choose an apartment for rent in a big city or a plot of land for rent in a suburban area? Leave your answer in the comments section. The most attractive aspect of rental properties is that they help you build a stable passive income stream, something many people dream of. No need to go out to work every day. Your apartment or room still regularly brings in monthly rent. And if you own many properties, the accumulated cash flow can replace your actual income from your main job. However, to succeed with rental properties, you need to pay attention to location. An apartment in the city center, near a university, industrial park, or high demand area will be easy to rent and maintain its value well. Conversely, if you buy a property in a remote area with few tenants, it may take months to find a tenant. In addition to location, you also need to pay attention to quality and service. A clean room with basic furniture and good security will attract long-term tenants. Even just investing a few $100s to paint and decorate can increase the rental price by an extra $50 to $100 per month. That's how many real estate investors increase profits. A common mistake is that many people focus too much on the value of the asset and forget the actual cash flow. Some people spend hundreds of thousands of dollars buying a house but only rent it out for a few hundred, which isn't enough to cover expenses. So, it's no longer an income generating asset, but a burden. Always remember that the principle of positive cash flow is more important than the virtual value on paper. A smart strategy is to start small. Instead of borrowing too much to buy a large apartment, you can start slowly with a room or a mini apartment. When the cash flow from that accumulates enough, you upgrade to a larger asset. This is a sustainable way to build your own real estate empire. So the question I want to ask you is, if you start with rental properties, would you choose a high-end serviced apartment model or cheap motel rooms that are easy to rent? Leave your answer in the comments because this is a strategy that everyone will have a different perspective on. Rental properties also have a special advantage: financial leverage. In many other investment channels, if you borrow money to participate, the risk is very high. But with real estate, banks are willing to lend at a high rate, sometimes up to 60 to 70% of the asset value. This helps you own assets larger than your actual capital and use the monthly rent to pay off debts. However, leverage is like a double-edged sword. If you miscalculate and borrow too much or choose the wrong location, making the property difficult to rent, the cash flow will be negative, and the pressure to pay off debt will weigh heavily. Therefore, always remember the principle of safety. The rental income must be enough to pay loan interest and management costs, even with a small surplus. A small trick that many investors apply is flexible rentals. Instead of just renting long-term, you can combine it with short-term rentals through platforms like Airbnb. This helps optimize room occupancy, increase profits, and maintain initiative. In addition, rental properties also have psychological benefits. When you own a house or an apartment, you can see and touch that asset. This brings more peace of mind than holding securities or numbers on a screen. This is also why many Americans always prefer real estate to other investment channels. Of course, no path is perfect. Real estate also has its difficulties. The market stagnates, policies change, and rental demand decreases. But in the long term, real estate in good locations always increases in price and maintains a stable cash flow. To end this part, I want you to imagine, if you have 5 small apartments for rent, each bringing in $500 a month, you'll have $2,500 in passive income per month. What would you do with that money? Retire, travel, or continue to reinvest? Share your thoughts in the comments because that might be your goal in the next 5 to 10 years. To conclude this section on asset number 4, rental properties, I want to emphasize one thing. This is a type of asset that not only brings in cash flow, but also has the potential to increase in value over time. It's like you have a monthly money printing machine and a treasure that accumulates gradually over the years. However, rental properties also require you to have knowledge and discipline. You need to know how to choose a location, manage cash flow, and use financial leverage appropriately. If you do it right, real estate can become a solid financial pillar, helping you get closer to financial freedom. Remember, you don't have to start with huge assets. Just a small room, a modest apartment complex, or a mini apartment can create a steady stream of income. The important thing is that you start and persevere. So, we've completed the sharing about rental properties, and in the next part, I'll reveal asset number 5. a technological asset that is developing strongly around the world and may open up breakthrough opportunities in the next few years. Can you guess what it is? Comment your prediction below and we'll explore it right away. Let's move on to asset number 5. A technological asset that is increasingly dominating financial news around the globe is cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency, with prominent representatives like Bitcoin and Ethereum, is no longer foreign to investors. The special thing about this type of asset is that it operates in a decentralized manner and is not subject to direct control by central banks or governments. Therefore, cryptocurrency is considered by many to be digital gold, a channel for preserving value and even making strong breakthroughs. Look at Bitcoin in 2012. Its value was around a few dollars. By 2021, at one point, Bitcoin exceeded $60,000. This means that in less than a decade, the assets of those who patiently held on have multiplied thousands of times. This is a clear demonstration of growth power that few other assets can match. However, cryptocurrency is also extremely volatile. Prices can double in a few months but can also fall 50% in just a few weeks. Therefore, this is not an investment channel for the faint of heart but requires knowledge, strategy, and discipline. A popular strategy when investing in crypto is DCA, buying a small amount periodically regardless of whether the price goes up or down. This helps you average the price and avoid the FOMO mentality. In addition, many investors only allocate a small portion of their assets, for example, 5 to 10%, to both have the opportunity to benefit from breakthroughs and not be heavily affected if the price decreases. Another interesting point is that crypto doesn't just have Bitcoin or Ethereum. Today, there are thousands of blockchain projects applied to finance, art, games, and artificial intelligence. Some projects really create value, but many projects are designed to exploit profits. Therefore, the golden rule when investing in crypto is to only choose large coins with a solid foundation recognized by the community. In the United States, many young people see crypto as an opportunity to change their lives. Some people have been able to buy houses and cars by persistently holding Bitcoin early on. But some have lost everything because they rushed into high-risk coins. This shows that crypto is both an opportunity and a challenge. So, the question I want you to share is, if you invest in crypto, will you choose to be safe with Bitcoin and Ethereum or take risks with new coins? Leave a comment to discuss together because surely everyone will have a different perspective. Crypto is not simply an asset, but also a technological ecosystem. Blockchain, the underlying technology of cryptocurrency, is being applied in many fields, from decentralized finance, DeFi, and smart contracts to supply chains, healthcare, and even art with NFTs. This means that when you invest in crypto, you're not just buying a virtual currency, but also placing your faith in a technology that can change the world. However, precisely because this market is still new, the risk is very high. Many projects are launched only to scam and then disappear, causing investors to lose everything. A safe strategy is to focus on blue chip coins, like Bitcoin and Ethereum. A Bitcoin is considered a store of value like digital gold. Ethereum is like a global operating system for blockchain applications. These are two platforms that have proven their strength and have the largest communities. In addition, you can put a small portion into potential new projects, but always remember, only invest the amount you can afford to lose. Never put all your capital into one coin because you hear rumors or hot news. The great thing about crypto is its global liquidity. You can trade 24/7, not limited by time zones or holidays like the stock market. You can also buy and sell with just a few dollars, making it very accessible, but always maintain discipline. Store coins safely in a personal wallet, enable two-factor authentication, and avoid keeping all assets on exchanges, because there have been many cases of exchanges going bankrupt or being hacked, causing millions of people to lose money. Finally, the most important thing when investing in crypto is not just profit, but knowledge. If you understand how it works, you won't get caught up in fear or greed. You'll know when to buy, when to sell, and more importantly, when to stand aside and observe. So, I want to ask you, in your opinion, in the next 5 years, can Bitcoin replace gold to become the leading safe haven? Comment your opinion because this will surely be a very interesting debate. Crypto is also interesting in another aspect, community and global trends. Unlike stocks, where you usually only trade within the country, crypto connects investors around the world. You can trade at the same time as someone in the US, Japan, or Europe with just your phone. This creates a global market open 24/7 that never sleeps. Many experts believe that cryptocurrency will not disappear, but will gradually be legalized and integrated into the traditional financial system. More and more large banks and multinational corporations are accepting Bitcoin as a legal asset. Even traditional investment funds are starting to allocate a small portion to crypto. This is a sign that crypto has passed the temporary trend stage and is gradually entering the mainstream. Of course, risk always comes with opportunity. Governments are still finding ways to manage the unclear legal framework. Today, you may see prices increase sharply, but tomorrow, just one new policy can cause the market to shake violently. Therefore, you need to be alert and not put your entire financial future into crypto. A smart strategy is to consider crypto as a small piece of the puzzle in your portfolio. Let it account for 5 to 10% of your assets as a bet on the future of technology. If successful, that part will multiply many times. If you fail, you won't lose too much. The final point I want to share is to invest in knowledge before investing in coins. Read books, learn about blockchain, and learn how to secure personal wallets. Knowledge is the only thing that helps you survive in this volatile market in the long run. So, to conclude this part, I want to ask you, if you had to choose an asset for your children and grandchildren to inherit in 20 years, gold or Bitcoin, which would you choose? Leave your answer in the comments because this will be a very thought-provoking debate. To conclude this section on asset number 5, cryptocurrency, I want to reiterate the key points for you to easily remember and apply. 1. Crypto is a technological asset represented by Bitcoin and Ethereum with the potential for breakthrough growth but also full of volatility. 2. The smart strategy is to only allocate a small portion of the portfolio, about 5 to 10%, and consider it a bet on the future. 3. Always prioritize large coins with a solid foundation and never chase rumors or opaque projects. 4. Equip yourself with knowledge about blockchain, security, and risk management before investing. This is the factor that helps you survive in the long term. 5. Crypto is a global trend that is increasingly attracting the attention of many organizations, banks, and investment funds. But remember, legality and policies are still a big variable. Thus, crypto is both an opportunity and a challenge. It can multiply your assets many times, but can also take everything away if you lack discipline. So, we have completed the sharing about cryptocurrency, and now get ready because in the next part, I will reveal asset number 6. An asset that can be considered your personal business generates cash even when you are not working directly. Can you guess what it is? Comment your prediction below and we'll explore it in the next part. Let's move on to asset number 6. A special type of asset because it not only generates income, but also directly reflects your efforts, skills, and intelligence. That is your personal business or automated business system. Unlike passive assets such as gold or ETFs, a personal business allows you to create a real money printing machine where cash flow comes from products, services, or platforms that you build. The most attractive point is that when the business operates smoothly, it can generate profits even when you are not directly working. For example, someone opens an online store selling handmade products. Initially, they do everything themselves: production, sales, delivery. But after the system is stable, they hire staff to take charge, use e-commerce platforms to automatically receive orders and transport goods. At this time, even if the store owner goes on vacation, revenue still flows steadily into the account. Or another example, you build a YouTube channel, blog, or online course. The content you create once can bring in revenue for many years through advertising, subscriptions, or new students. This is a modern business model where intelligence and skills are turned into passive income streams. Of course, building a personal business is not easy. A common mistake is that many people are impatient and want quick results, but lack the patience to perfect products and brands. Some people invest too much capital in marketing without understanding the market, leading to failure. Conversely, those who know how to start small, experiment, and learn from mistakes often achieve sustainable success. The key when building this type of asset is automation and staffing. If everything depends on you, it's not an asset but just a self-created job. But when you can delegate to others or use technology tools to operate, the business truly becomes an asset that generates cash flow. So, I want to ask you, if you had the opportunity, would you choose to build an online business based on technology or a traditional business model like a store or coffee shop? Share your opinion in the comments because surely each choice will have its own advantages and disadvantages. A personal business or automated business system also gives you something priceless: the freedom of choice. When you have built a model with a stable cash flow, you no longer have to depend entirely on your monthly salary. You can spend time with family, pursue your passions, or expand into new projects. Imagine you create an online course about a field you're good at. You invest a few months to record videos, compile documents, and put them on an online learning platform. Then, every time someone registers, you receive tuition fees. You don't need to reteach each session. You don't need to directly interact with each student, but the value you create still continuously generates income. Gotcha. Another example is e-commerce. You can sell goods through Amazon, Etsy, or your own website. Once the system is stable, orders automatically come in and the warehouse automatically handles them. You just need to focus on product and brand development. This is why many young people today can earn tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars each month from doing business. Okay, here's the translation and localization of the text written in a natural, engaging, and slightly more expansive style, as if a native English speaker were recounting it. Don't fall into the trap that so many do when starting a side hustle, failing to distinguish between a job and a genuine asset. If the whole operation hinges on you, if things grind to a halt the moment you take a break, then what you've got isn't truly an asset. Only when you've stepped away from the daily grind, when the business continues to churn out profits without your constant intervention, can it be considered a real income-generating asset. To achieve this, you've got to master the art of building systems and assembling a solid team. Picture your business like a car. You're the driver at the beginning, sure, but eventually, you need to hand over the steering wheel to someone else so the car keeps cruising even when you're taking a breather. That's the crucial difference between someone who toils away their entire life and someone who builds lasting wealth. So here's a question I want you to think about and share. If you could launch any business model this year, what would it be? Would you build an online system like a course, a YouTube channel, an e-commerce store? Or would you go with a brick and mortar setup, a diner, a coffee shop, a retail boutique? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Who knows, you might just find like-minded individuals heading in the same direction. A personal enterprise or an automated business system offers another advantage that few assets can match: scalability. Once your model is running like a well-oiled machine, you can duplicate it, replicate it, and expand it in ways you never thought possible. If you have an online store that's killing it, you can open 2, 3, maybe even 10 more, or you could expand into international markets. The amazing thing is that your expansion costs don't necessarily have to increase at the same rate as your revenue. Thanks to automation, a single website or a YouTube channel can serve thousands, even millions, of customers without requiring significantly more effort from you. That's what gives this type of asset its potential for explosive growth. However, expansion isn't without its risks. If you scale too rapidly without maintaining control over quality, service levels will plummet, customers will bail, and the whole enterprise could come crashing down. So, the golden rule is to optimize a small model first, perfect it, and then replicate it. Here's a real-world example. A young entrepreneur started a YouTube channel teaching English. Once the channel hit 100,000 subscribers, they expanded by launching online courses, publishing ebooks, and building a community group. Everything revolved around the core asset, the YouTube channel, and formed an automated business ecosystem. As a result, revenue wasn't just coming from one source, but from multiple streams, all working together. Another vital point: a personal enterprise doesn't just generate income, it also helps you build a personal brand. In today's world, a strong personal brand is an invaluable, intangible asset. It makes it easier to attract customers, partners, and new opportunities. So, to wrap up this section, I want to ask you, if you had the opportunity to build a personal brand to generate income, what niche would you choose? Education, entertainment, e-commerce, or something totally different? Share your answer in the comments section. Who knows, it might be the first step on your path to an automated business. All right, we've covered asset number 6, the personal enterprise or automated business system, where you can transform your skills, ideas, and technology into a money-making machine that runs even while you're asleep. It demands a significant upfront investment of time and effort, but once it's humming along, it can provide long-term benefits, even for future generations. Now, let's move on to the final asset in the 2026 rankings. This is an asset that anyone can start building today. No massive capital required, no waiting for the market to align. It depends entirely on you. It's knowledge and personal skills. Think about it. All the previous assets, from gold and ETFs to real estate and businesses, require you to have the knowledge to make sound decisions. Without it, you can easily lose money, even everything. Knowledge is the foundation upon which all other assets can thrive. The great thing is that knowledge can never be taken away from you. When you invest in learning and skill development, you're building an intangible but incredibly powerful asset. It stays with you throughout your life and can always be converted into money, opportunities, or freedom. For example, someone who speaks multiple languages can expand their career into international markets, potentially multiplying their income. Someone skilled in technology can create online products and sell them worldwide. Someone proficient in communication and management can build a team and scale a business. It all stems from knowledge and skills. So, here's a question I want you to consider. If you viewed knowledge as an asset, what skill would you choose to invest in next year? Finance? Technology? Personal development? Drop your answer in the comments below. Who knows, it might be the starting point for your breakthrough in the years to come. Knowledge and skills are the only assets you can continuously upgrade without fearing depreciation. On the contrary, the more you learn, the more your personal value increases and the greater your income generating potential becomes. The best part is that investing in knowledge doesn't necessarily have to be expensive. Today, you can learn from books, online courses, seminars, or even real-world experiences. Every lesson, every skill you acquire becomes a brick in building your intangible asset empire. A common mistake many people make is focusing solely on tangible assets, money, gold, property, while neglecting their internal assets. But think about it. If you lost everything, it's your knowledge and skills that would help you rebuild from scratch. That's the difference between someone who is sustainably wealthy and someone who is just temporarily lucky. Here's a real life example. Someone went bankrupt due to a failed business, losing tens of millions. But thanks to the knowledge and skills they had accumulated, they were able to rebuild a new business and become even more successful than before. Their true asset wasn't the money they once had, but the ability to generate new wealth. So ask yourself, in the next 5 years, which skills will take you the furthest? Maybe it's financial literacy to manage and invest wisely. Maybe it's tech skills to keep up with digitalization, or maybe it's soft skills like communication and leadership to lead a team and expand your influence. This is an asset that anyone can start building today. You don't need capital, you just need determination and a disciplined approach to learning every day. So I want to ask you, if you had to choose a single skill to learn this year, what would it be? Drop your answer in the comments below. Who knows, your answer might inspire someone else to start their journey of accumulating intangible assets. To conclude the section on asset number 7, knowledge and personal skills, I want to emphasize that this is the foundational asset that determines whether you can succeed with the other assets. You can own gold, ETFs, real estate, or even a business. But without the knowledge to manage them, without the skills to operate them, it will all crumble. Conversely, if you have a solid foundation, you can completely rebuild from scratch, even stronger than before. Investing in yourself always yields the highest return. Because money can be lost, but knowledge stays with you forever, and the more you learn, the more valuable you become, opening up more opportunities. This is also why I place knowledge and skills at the end of the ranking, as a reminder that whatever investment channel you choose, always start by investing in yourself first. All right. We've completed our journey exploring the 7 assets that can generate income even while you sleep, the 2026 rankings. Now, let's hear from you in the comments. Which of these 7 assets do you think is the most important? And which will you prioritize building in the coming year? I'm eager to read your thoughts, and who knows, your answer might inspire others. And don't forget, if you found this video helpful, hit like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the upcoming in-depth analyses. In the next video, I'll share how to build a roadmap to turn $10,000 into $100,000 in 3 years, a practical strategy that many people have successfully implemented. Thanks for watching until the end.